I overheard John talking on the phone with Al one afternoon, and he was expressing concern because he heard that Al had this cough and he wasn't feeling well. And I heard John kind of say impatiently, well, man, you need to get to a doctor. You don't sound good. And it was truly shocking. It all had happened so fast. He had gone from having a cough and feeling unwell, and then he had died. Anybody that knows John's story knows that Al was a huge part of that story. He had managed John since the early days, since the mid-70s. He had helped him start up a label. He had helped take care of his publishing. They were not just business partners, but they were also really good friends. John said to me one day, just out of the blue, he said, "Fee, I can't do this if I have to get a new manager. If I have to do that again, I'm done." And that was truly kind of horrifying in a way because, you lose someone you love and yet life goes on. That became very evident very quickly.
Oh, Shippy has gone where the good doggies go, and no more with old Ship will I roam. But if dogs have a heaven, there's one thing I know. Old Ship has a wonderful home.
And so he asked me if I would stand in and if I would manage him.
And so I was singing 15 years ago with a buddy of mine. And I sang the part I got a loving wife who thinks the world of me. And you could hear people at the bar, they're sitting there with their pints and they're going, "That's right, John, that's right, you do have a loving wife." Like that, like, don't forget it, When I first brought Fiona over to Nashville, I had a guy that owned a big bar in Dublin take me to the side and say, "You're taking a good woman out of Ireland."
John, really didn't care for the business end of things at all, even though he, as it proved later, the help that he gave us in making the decisions for his career were really spot on. I mean, he knew his own audience, he knew his career better than anybody. I approached my oldest son, Jody, and I asked him, I said, "Can you please help me, even if just for a few months, until we can see if we can figure this thing out?" By enormous good luck, I had met Eileen Tilson. I knew she was the right fit. And I called her up and I said, "I need you. I need help with the music business." And she was right there.
And so I'm like, okay, I show up my first day and I have this address and it's this tiny little apartment on Belmont. And it's just all these computers and all these wires and boxes and all this sort of stuff. And it was like, well, figure out what you're going to do with it. And so really that first year of Oh Boy 2.0 was like trying to figure out what we were doing.
We started noticing in Oh Boy that a younger generation, especially on social media, was really excited about John. I don't know if he ever fully understood what streaming was. He would always just call it downloads on your phone. But he went from sort of a grudging acceptance of it to like an excitement that people all over the world could discover his music, places that he'd never played a show, that he'd never gotten played on radio. For him, the ability to go out on the road and make a connection with fans, that was always the most important part of the music business for him. Whether it's social media or streaming, it made it even easier and it made a bigger audience that was just excited to go see him at festivals or shows. I think eventually he begrudgingly kind of came to even like some of the attention on social media, although he would never admit that.
Yes, blue must be the color of the blues.
Now, this is my chance to tell the truth. I was boondoggled or horse-waddled, I don't know what the word is, into doing this record. I was told by my manager, who is now my wife, Fiona, and the director of Oh Boy, which is my son, Jody, that they just wanted to make a vinyl version of In Spite of Ourselves, but we were short a fourth side. So if I could go in and just do 5 or 6 more duets, then we'd have a double album. And that's how I got into the studio. And once I got the 6 songs done, they said, hey, why don't you just do a whole nother CD? And by that time, it seemed like a pretty good idea.
By this time, he had started really reaching out to younger artists. Casey Musgraves and Amanda Shires and a lot of younger artists, and having them open his shows the way Iris had. It meant a lot to them, for sure, and it meant a lot to him. It made his audience even bigger.
Yes, blue must be the color of the blues.
So Oh Boy Records is an independent label, family owned, and I know that John was hugely proud of that. I mean, that really means something. But more than just in words, it means that we are part of a community, which is very important to us as a family, and then for our business. That was just so gratifying for him, because that meant that his music was reaching individuals. It just meant the world to him.
John always insisted on getting a paycheck from Oh Boy Records. Now, he owned it. He was the president of the company, and it couldn't just be a direct deposit. Like, he wanted to come in to get his physical check in an envelope so that he could take it to the bank and deposit it. And he didn't just go through the drive-thru. He wanted to go to the bank and sit there and talk to the teller, and he liked the feeling like he was a working man earning his paycheck, and he liked to tell people that he was the president of Oh Boy Records all the time.
It's hard to think of, more meaningful work than kind of lifting up, your family and what they're doing. And John also always shared in that success with us. I think, you can go your whole life and not find a boss like that.
And then one day he just showed up and he's like, I found the Oh Boy office and I bought it. And we were like, what, really? And it's this old historic home in Germantown. He's like, Eileen, I was thinking, it would look really great outside, a big giant metal sign that said, John Prine and Sons. And at this point, I'm already seeing people on the streets kind of side-eyeing each other, looking, going, is that John Prine? Is that John Prine? And I was like, John, we're not putting this address online. I don't know why you think we're gonna put a sign out front that says, please come in and bother us, but we didn't put the metal sign up. He wanted it, though.
Wow, something from Oh Boy. Wow, look. The new John Prine record, The Tree of Forgiveness.
I can see your back porch if I close my eyes now. I can hear the train tracks, the laundry on the line. I'm thinking it's your business, but you don't got the answer. I'm knocking on your screen door in the summertime.
It was hard for him to sort of get over that hurdle, that psychic hurdle. He's written some of the most beloved folk songs of all time. If he never wrote another song again or released another song, his legacy was secured. So in some ways, I don't think he said this, but he didn't have anything to really gain by putting out new material. I think one of the first times I remember him playing the new material was actually a Tiny Desk concert. Well, it was packed. We sort of got a sense that this wasn't just a regular Tiny Desk show. And John started performing, and when he did Summer's End, we could see the people in the audience crying. He had to do it again. I think something got flubbed, and the second time people were crying. Getting that kind of feedback, that was the real high point.
Just come on home.
It was the biggest record of John's career in terms of charting. It really kind of affirmed some of the ways we'd been doing business and gave us a model for, this could work for other artists. We can do the same thing again.
Today she's the newest member of Oh Boy Records, Kelsey Walden.
There's just some things that will never just like my hero, John Prine, you know. I just want people to hear my name too and know that it's going to be good.
People love Oh Boy Records, and they're going to give an honest shot at all of our artists. You know, they trust us, and they trusted John. All of our artists right now are, John picked.
Which one?
Number 4.
Number 4 it is.
She's got a soft spot for me now, 'cause when she says my name out loud, well, I can hear it in the timbre of a hitchhike voice. She wants to know where I have been.
We know that we have a built-in crowd who will buy our records, whether it's Trey Burt or a John Prine title that's on vinyl. And we appreciate that, and it's great to be able to take that pattern and continue using it because of the fans that we have built in.
I mean, really, we just kind of rely on our fans, to spread the word. Our fans are so passionate about everything Oh Boy does that it makes it pretty easy for us. We might not have a huge following, but we have a dedicated following, and it's almost like they work for Oh Boy, like they're so dedicated to John and our other artists' music that they kind of do our job for us.
The common thread through all these artists is their unique voice. They've got something to say. There's a reason they make music. It's not to be famous. That's what John did, and that's what we hope to continue to support.
If we don't leave now, then we're never gonna leave Ohio, Lord. And that's a chance that we just can't take. Now we're all getting older.
There's a bit of me in all the characters, and vice versa. You don't have to know a lot about the vocation, but you try and find a thread in that character where you can really empathize with them. That's the only way I was able to write about old people.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of loneliness I would perceive just from looking in their faces, and that it's not the kind of loneliness that a young person goes through.
Right.
It's a different sort of thing where you've lived a full life and like what's next, It's like the guy in Lonesome Friends of Science. He lives inside his head, Tennessee is just a place where he gets mail. Like they can't penetrate this, and if they do, I won't let them know that they did. All right. I've been down this road before. I remember every tree, every single blade of grass holds a special place for me.
That's also important to us as a family, that we reach out beyond ourselves. And it's not just in the music business, but who we are as a family. It's important that we support those who have less, whether it's financial support or moral support or to help a cause that's righteous. Not only do we value those organizations, but our fans came in behind us and said that they would support them too, and that just meant the world. He didn't necessarily see Oh Boy as being a record company in the real sense of the word, that it was going to make millions of dollars and it was going to make, all these executives rich. And no, it was a vehicle for good music. And to that end, as long as there are people who want to listen to good music, who will value the singer-songwriter, then we will keep on going.
Thinking about John and what was important to him in an artist sort of guides how we're going to support the next generation of singer-songwriters.
I am the first artist that they signed since John passed, and being supported by this team and being a part of John's legacy is everything to me. I feel like I got the golden ticket. I won the lottery in the music business, and I just love working with good people. And they said to me, this is a family business, and it really feels that way. It's incredibly special.
With my job, it's the easiest to see that Oh Boy survives through the fans, no doubt.
And I think that's what's made me just feel so committed to Oh Boy is I believe in the magic. I believe what John believed in.
Oh Boy is surviving because we have a group of people who are loyal to us because they know we'll be loyal to them. That's why it's been around since 1981.
And you can tell your friends there with you, they'll have to go. Get out of here.
I got kicked off a Noah's life. I turned my cheek to uncanny minds. When there was two of everything, but one of me. And when the rains came tumbling down, I held my breath and I stood my ground. And I watched that ship go sailing out to sea. Take it back, take it back. Oh no, you can't say that. Oh my friend, going gale to rock empty stone. The black wind still moans. Sweet revenge without faith.